Check. Electroneum, a sign of life. We also gotta talk some bridges today. We gotta break it down because somebody asked me about Electroneum bridges and will Electroneum ever have one. So we're gonna dissect bridges and what are they today and how they can benefit the entire Electroneum smart chain network. So you're gonna want to stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get straight into this one. Now, as you can see today, Electroneum is up, but you know that is because the entire market is also up. You can see Bitcoin climbing back up slowly from 62 to 65,000 at the time of this recording, which means by the time you see my video, if Bitcoin is at zero, don't ask me, but that means I recorded the video earlier than before you see it. All right, now let's get to cross-chain bridges. What are they? From the Electroneum developer.electroneum.com. Go over there, read about everything, GitHub, how to run a node, how to migrate, how to do all of that stuff on the Electroneum smart chain. You know, what is a bridge? You know, that's the first thing you need to establish. You know, it's just a platform where all crypto blockchains can meet together and exchange money and value. That's it. That's all you need to understand. I'm not going to read all of this stuff for you. You know, network infrastructure, pretty much. You know, different types of bridges exist to help make this possible. The fact that layer 1s, layer 2 scaling solutions, they can all come together in one platform. And one would say, hey, I want to bridge $5 from my network to your network. And then the bridge would make that possible. That's it. Why do these bridges need to exist? It is simply for one word: interoperability. That's it. Shout out to Charles Hoskinson. He spoke about this many years ago. Connectivity and blockchain interoperability between different blockchains, so that Matic can communicate with pulsechain, pulsechain can communicate with Binance, and vice versa. You see them triangle thingies right there. That's all it is. Now, what are the benefits of bridges? Number one is just the transfer of any data, information, and assets across different chains. Number two, you know, unlocking new futures and protocols and whatnot. And also they can bring in liquidity. They can boost your liquidity pools. For example, let's say the ElectroSwap liquidity pool can really benefit from other ETN platforms, EVM platforms, if they decided to bridge and bring their liquidity over to the ElectroSwap DEX and these other DEXs and projects in the Electroneum ecosystem. You know, the opportunity to leverage, you know, strengthen different blockchains. This also is cool. Collaboration amongst developers. You know, a dev from Matic, Polygon can come over and collaborate with the ElectroSwap dev, for example. You know, a dev from Electroneum smart chain, you know, or the Pandy dev collaborate with another dev with Binance. Bridges can allow these things to happen. This will attract new users and it will create a fusion between communities, and communities will become one in crypto, right? Now, how do these bridges work? It's three types of bridges. One is called a lock and mint bridge, right? Where you can lock your assets on your source chain, but then you mint the assets on the destination chain. You get it? So if I want to bridge $5, I have to lock it on one chain, and then on the other side the same $5 worth would be minted, and then I'll get my token. So the bridge will enable this to happen. The second type of bridge is the bridge called burn and mint, you know, where you burn your asset on your source chain, but then you mint the assets on the other side. You get it now? And then the third type of bridge is the atomic swaps. You know, hey, atomic wallet. So swap an asset on your source chain, but then you swap them also on the destination chains, but with this thing called a parity, where the same amount is coming out on the other side too. So this is what bridges do. And now you have your native bridges, you have your validator oracle bridges and liquidity bridges and all this sort of thing, which really covers, you know, these three pretty much covers all of this stuff, right? Now, security is really depends on, you know, who verifies the system? Every bridge have to be verified, right? So you need to check the verification for security, convenience, connectivity, the ability for people to pass more complex data. They move data from one blockchain to another, and the cost effectiveness also. The bridge have to be cheap enough for people to be able to use it, and the bridge have to be trusted, and you know, all of that stuff, man. Now here's the crazy part. Every bridge have risk. If you remember the Solana wormhole bridge attack, if you remember the Harmony bridge attack, I made a video about the Harmony bridge attack 2 years ago. This was in 2022, right? So bridges account for the top 3 biggest hacks in DeFi, and they are still in the early stages of development. So using any bridge carries the following risk, right? Smart contract vulnerability risk, you know, and even though the bridge have successfully passed audits, it only takes one flaw in a smart contract for assets to be exposed to these hacks, you know. Example, Solana wormhole bridge, I just mentioned this. The systemic financial risk also, because hey, listen, you're bridging your money from one blockchain to another. There's also risk where this could be lost, you know, funds could be lost. Remember when pulsechain launched and it took Richard had 2-3 days or something to get the bridge going, maybe a couple days, and then when the bridge got going, some people funds got stuck for a while, and for 2-3 days they didn't get it until finally the bridge got unclogged and they realized, okay, Richard Hart is not scamming us. We was just waiting for too long for the funds to be bridged over to pulsechain from Ethereum. That's all it was, you know. Counterparty risk, you know, some bridges utilize a trusted design that requires users to rely on the assumption that validators will not collude to steal users' funds. So you also have to trust these counterparty risks, these validators, not to mess, these third parties, you know, not to mess up, because if they do, there's risk of rug pulls and censorship and all this other stuff, you know. Your funds could be censored pretty much. Someone can blacklist your wallet. All kinds of stuff can happen in a bridge hack. You know, open issues, given that the bridges are in the nascent stages of development. If it's a new bridge also, you gotta be aware of that, because it could be more vulnerable and open to attacks. So bridges are not all rosy, they're not all sweet. There's a lot of bridge hacks, so you gotta also watch out for that. Now, how can dApps, decentralized applications, use these bridges? You know, they can use it for blockchain integration. For example, you can build your own bridge. Yeah, building a secure and reliable bridge is not easy though, you know, especially if you take a more trusted minimized route. You know, it requires a lot of technical expertise and all this other stuff they're saying here. So showing users multiple bridge options where you can bridge and swap many dApps. Integrating a bridge, you know, is also the solution doesn't require the dApp to send users to the external bridge and the DEX interfaces. So it allows these dApps to improve the user's onboarding experience and whatnot. But, you know, there are also limits to this. It's just like, I'm not going to go all over. This is pretty much, this is it to cover. But where does Electroneum stand in terms of this, right? So pretty much one person is needed to build these kind of bridges, and Electroneum would really benefit from these bridges if Richard Els and team look into that, because you're looking at blockchain interoperability, but like right now it's still difficult to get hold of the Electroneum token. Yes, we are on MetaMask, but we're not on Uniswap yet. We're not on these swap centralized, decentralized exchanges yet. We need to be listed on more exchanges. You know, shout out to the Electroneum team. Recently they have been retweeting a lot about education, meaning, you know, what is a smart contract, what are smart contracts, and what are their functionalities and all this other stuff. It got me looking into variables and studying smart contracts further, because I was looking into variables and what are functionalities and how can I get into coding and all this other stuff, which is cool, man. Electroneum encourage people to do that. You know, right now it's up to us to build these things. Shout out to the ElectroSwap dev and all these other devs that built dexes on top of Electroneum. Shout out to the Pandy team, PDY or Spike, all these other projects that are built on top of the Electroneum SC smart chain. So people are building, and which is dope, and we're covering it, you know, but we also need more boost, like manpower, to build bridges so that people can bridge asset classes from Binance in terms of crypto and bring it over to Electroneum. Then you might see Bolt explode. Then you might see all of your tokens explode. People can bridge from Matic and all this other stuff. You know, there's a protocol called Zenify. That's my favorite cross-chain bridge. I can get out of optimism and quickly get into Binance using Zenify. I've been using it for a while now. Look at that, bro. Imagine getting out of an L2 and jumping straight back into an L1 and vice versa using a cross-chain bridge application such as Zenify, which is absolutely amazing. Zenify is underrated, man. Shout out to Simran and all these guys that had built Zenify. But yeah, this is the power of bridges. They bring in volume, liquidity, and all this other stuff, but it requires a lot of technical expertise. These are not my words, but the words of these people who wrote this, the Electroneum devs that wrote this research paper right here about bridges. They said it requires a lot of years of experience and technical expertise related to scalability, interoperability studies. Additionally, it would require a hand-on team to maintain a bridge. You can't just build it like that. You have to maintain it, and also you have to attract sufficient liquidity to make the bridge feasible. So if you have $2 in your wallet and $1 million in bridge is coming in every day, want to bridge to Electroneum, but you don't have money on the other side to make it 1-to-1 ratio, you don't have money. Your bridge gonna collapse, and then boom, what happens? The people who wanted to bridge their money are gonna lose that money. That's why bridges are a bit complicated and they take time to build. So a little bit of understanding, you know what I'm saying, is required for these things to happen, you know. Unfortunately, the level of education in crypto right now is still at a low base because most people are just in it to just, hey man, let's just quickly, we just want to use it, boom, and we out, we in and out. That's why stuff like this, the experts should focus on it, and then they will please have it done so that you can save the majority, the 99% that really don't really know much about coding, let alone building a bridge. I'm just gonna leave it at that. What are your thoughts on Electroneum pumping today? You know, 3.5 cents. I'm kidding, it's not at 3.5 cents yet, but 1/3 of a penny and a half, which is dope. You know, recently, last month, we almost hit a penny on Electroneum. I still maintain my 61-cent dream. People talk about dream a lot, but hey man, hey, we can get there. I seen it, I saw it, and I think with the market sentiment changing, that's gonna be dope. And Electroneum is headed to places, man. Look at the crypto market and how green it is. 66,000. Look at that. When we started our video, we was at $65,000 per BTC, and now we are at $66,000 per BTC. I'm telling you, Bitcoin goes over 100,000. Electroneum is headed to $1. Bolt token is headed to $5 per Bolt. Listen, because there's only 100 million Bolt token, guys. ElectroSwap, I'm telling you, you're sleeping on Bolt, bro. Let's just leave it at that. No financial advice. This is Nakamoto Crypto. Like up the video, share it, subscribe for some crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.